Welcome to ClubhouseNews.com. You're tuned in to Clubhouse News Weekend for the week ending Saturday, November 8th. I'm McKenna.
And I'm Sebastian. American voters painted the country Republican red this Tuesday in the 2014 midterm elections, handing the big decision-making reins to the Grand Old Party. See, if you're an 18-year-old citizen of the USA, you can change the rules by electing folks to the lawmaking legislative branch headed by the Congress and the law-enforcing executive branch led by the president and state governors. Then, they choose judges for the judicial branch overseen by the Supreme Court. This three-ring circus creates a system of checks and balances that keeps our government fair and honest. On Tuesday, Republicans scored the biggest majority in Congress since World War II, taking control of the Senate with 53 seats out of 100 and keeping their grip on the House of Representatives with 246 seats out of 435. Voters also elected the South's first black senator in over a century and America's youngest lawmaker, 18-year-old college freshman Sarah Blair. Republicans even won governor races in the traditionally blue Democratic states of Maryland, Massachusetts, and Illinois. As Obama winds down his final 2 years in office before the 2016 presidential elections, he told American voters, "I hear you," and vowed to work with Republicans.
Next weekend, leaders from the world's 20 biggest economies will meet in Australia for the G20 summit to brainstorm on money-making solutions. G20 stands for the group of 20 that make up around 80% of the world's wealth, where the USA is number one, followed by China, Japan, Germany, and France. That means Uncle Sam will be wheeling and dealing with the most blinged out bankers and governments on the planet. Since Russian President Vladimir Putin and Obama are both going, people are wondering if they'll iron out their differences. Russia's definitely been feeling the heat lately from the economic handcuffs that the U.S.-led allies have slapped on them as punishment for trying to take over their neighbor, Ukraine. Here's to hoping everyone resolves their differences and piles up the gold.
Long before Germany was an economic powerhouse, the Berlin Wall split the nation's capital in half from 1961 to 1990, and this past Sunday was the 25th anniversary of its fall. Germany was majorly crippled after its Nazi leader Adolf Hitler lost World War II in 1945. In the decades that followed, a Cold War burned hot between the communist government of Soviet Russia and the USA as they tried spreading their influence across the globe. Berlin became ground zero in a Cold War battle for the heart and soul of Europe as Soviet-allied East Germany built a wall cutting off West Berlin. After decades of division, USA President Ronald Reagan challenged Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev to tear down this wall in 1987 during a speech near the Berlin Wall.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
2 years later, on November 9th, the East German government announced that citizens could cross the wall and its destruction was completed in 1992.
The sound that you hear and what you're seeing tonight, not hammers and sickles, but hammers and chisels as young people take down this wall bit by bit.